We've been getting output reports of our test IDs, test name, the node ID passed or failed, and the time taken. These are stored in the results, and they come from the conftest.py where our hooks are. If you need to customize that, that's the console output. If we come up and go to add option, configure, run test, make report, about line 100 or so. There's some documentation around it. What you really need to know is what are the possible outputs. We can get the test duration. What we do is for every test, which is called an item as opposed to a test to avoid clashing with the name test, we get the test and we get when it was called, whether it was called during setup, call, or teardown. Down here, we're looking for when it was actually called. We get the outcome. It's this property, whether it's passed, X failed, etc. We can get the time duration. We can get its node ID. I have a slight variation because when I do my test for PyTest BDD, later on we'll have a look at that, the way it creates the test ID and the test node is different. So I'm just checking for that when we're doing the conftest.py. But essentially the test ID is the first or the second element in splitting the name. If we have a look in here, we can see that we have this colon, double colon, where we have the test name. So when we come down to conftest.py, essentially we want to split on that. And I made a mistake there. That's nothing to do with it. It's the test name is when we look at our functions. My apologies. If we go into one of these and look at a test, we see we have test underscore and a 4-digit character. So therefore, what we would like to do in our conftest.py is basically split the name and on the first, get the second after we split it on the dash. So let's just open that up again, that one. We've got test underscore there. We want this, the second element or the first in terms of an array. So basically we split the name on the underscore and get the second element, which is 1, unless it's in the BDD where it's a slightly different version. We'll cover that in the behavior-driven testing. So once we've got that, we've got the test name. We can get all the markers based on a test. We can also get keywords as well, but we're not going to use them here. And all we're doing is we're outputting to a file. The file name is created at the very top, and I'm using report date, and I'm logging it to results report. And in this particular example, it's just called report date, and a random number just to make it particularly unique. And then when we analyze the file name, we can ensure that it is unique, and we can sort of store the ID and the date and time of the run. We'll see that when we look at some of the management reports. So coming down again, all the way down to here, we get the ID, we get the test name, we get any markers. And this is slightly complex, how we get all the pass and X-failed pass, to be discussed later. You may want to open the file and then print out, as you loop through each item, these details. But essentially I've opened a file and I'm sort of opening it every time. That would be more efficient to do it that way. Is I'm writing to file the test ID, the test name, the test node ID, the full path to the test itself, the outcome, the test duration, and any markers that were assigned. So when we go and have a look at a report here, for example, we can see the test number, the test name, the full node, whether it's passed, X failed, and so on, test duration. And you can see here that some have markers. If they've got X failed, that's a marker there. We've got another custom marker sanity, and I've just concatenated them with a dash. You can do that as you wish, but when we want to analyze the CSV, I can split them up easily. And that is how we get the custom output report. So if you want to customize that in any way, the reason I'm getting nice colors here is because I'm using a Rainbow CSV extension. Rainbow CSV, there it is. If I disable that and go back in, and I think I need to reload, restart the extensions, it's in black and white. If I come back in and enable it, and there's customization as one would expect. I've just left it with the standard. So that's the conf-test.py file, which is housing a lot of our hooks. And for the report itself, we can see that it's the run test make report that loops through every test. Perhaps we should open up the file and then loop through and insert things, whatever you wish. This is the way it is. I might change that in the future. And later on, we'll look at how we actually get in the terminal the xfail, xpass, and all the icons. But for now, that's how we get our output report, which you can load into a database, link up things with ID, description of the test, any markers that you're using, all sorts of things like that. And we may touch on that in a future video.